Hello aspirants, welcome to CivicCentre Civil Services Prime Time Week 8 of Environment and Science and Technology. There are 7 important topics in this particular week and one topic of importance, which is the Great Nicobar Mega Project. Let's briefly look into the 7 topics of this week. The topics are India's disease burden shift to non-communicable diseases, guidelines and special purpose fund for research, development and innovation scheme, Mission Drishti, world's first multi-sensor Earth observation satellites. Supreme Court allows limited use of green crackers in Delhi-NCR region. IUCN's Kenton R. Miller Award. Status of elephants in India. DNA-based census. IUCN World Conservation Congress. Topic of importance: the Great Nicobar Mega Project. So let's delve into the topics. India's disease burden shift towards non-communicable diseases. Who releases this particular thing? Based on the Global Burden of Disease 2025 report by Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at World Health Summit, Berlin. As per this report, India has been witnessing a transition from communicable to non-communicable diseases. Basically, what are these non-communicable diseases? The medical conditions that are not caused due to any infectious agents that have usually long duration and slow progression. So, the infectious diseases decrease due to better healthcare access, immunization and better sanitation facilities available, and the other factor is the increase in the non-communicable diseases. This is due to different risk factors which can be sedentary lifestyle, the air pollution, the poor diet, tobacco and alcohol. As per the data, around 66% of the total deaths in India are due to non-communicable diseases in the year 2023. If you consider in the year 1990, the same it was around 37.9%. You can look into the variation in the deaths in non-communicable diseases from around 37% to 66%. And the top 4 non-communicable diseases due to deaths are occurring are cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases and cancer. Other major findings include that the per person disease burden, which is measured as disability adjusted life year rate, DALY rate, has been dropped by 36% from 1990 to 2016. The anxiety and depression has seen a sharp rise between 2013 to 2023. Around 25 to 26% of the deaths caused due to non-communicable diseases have been occurring in the age group of 30 to 70 years. So the prime productive age group has been affected by the non-communicable diseases. Also, the next generations, the children coming around, that is from 0 to 19 years age group of children, out of them 22 lakh children are being affected by type 1 diabetes. India is about to lose 4.58 trillion US dollars by 2030 to these non-communicable diseases and various mental health conditions. The cardiovascular diseases, also in that the cardiovascular diseases are about $2.17 trillion, whereas the mental health include $1.03 trillion. India has also seen an increase in the triple burden from double burden, which is undernutrition, micronutrient deficiencies and obesity. Coming to the obesity, the economic impact of obesity is around 1.02% of the GDP. So what are the government interventions to decrease the non-communicable diseases? First, it is the National Program for Prevention and Control of Non-Communicable Diseases. Here, the non-communicable diseases includes cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer, chronic respiratory illness, and strokes. Next, the government is also implementing Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, Fit India campaign, Eat Right campaign, tobacco control programs. These are the various programs included by the Government of India to decrease this burden of non-communicable diseases. So what is this special purpose fund and who approves this particular fund? It is approved by the Executive Council of Anusandhan National Research Foundation, which ensures seamless scheme execution, effective private sector participation, and long-term innovation. What is this Anusandhan National Research Foundation? How was it established? It was established with Anusandhan National Research Foundation Act 2023, which is an apex body to provide high-level strategic direction of scientific research. Also, the Science and Engineering Research Board, which was established by the 2008 Act, has now been subsumed into Anusandhan Research Foundation. What is this RDI scheme? RDI scheme, it establishes 1 lakh crore fund which has been approved by the Union Cabinet on July 1, 2025. The nodal department for the implementation will be Science and Technology. The funding structure is basically of two-tiered funding program with the primary goal of promoting private sector driven R&D ecosystem. The Special Purpose Fund, it is set up by the Anusandhan National Research Foundation, which serves as a first level custodian, which has been custodied by the Department of Science and Technology. It will allocate capital to the second level fund managers like alternate investment funds, development finance institutions, non-banking financial companies, or focused research organizations like Technology Development Board, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistant Council, IIT Research Parks, etc. These managers then provide funding to RDI projects, which is often long-term concessional loans or equity based on the recommendations of their own expert committees. Grants and short-term loans are not supported under this particular fund. Financing can cover up to 50% of the assessed project cost for transformative RDI projects at technology readiness levels of 4 and above. Second level fund managers here operate through independent investment committees with experts from financial, business, and technical fields who ensures unbiased decisions. It does not invest directly in companies but channels capital to second level fund managers. This is about the SPF and RDI scheme. Coming to the next topic, which is Mission Drishti. What is this Mission Drishti? Mission Drishti is a space tech startup. Galaxy I announced plan to launch its Mission Drishti in 2026. It is world's first multi-sensor Earth observation satellite, and it is largest privately built satellite and also the highest resolution satellites which has been developed in the country. This Galaxy I is a Bengaluru based startup company. What are the objectives? The objectives are to provide high resolution multi-source geospatial intelligence for applications in defense, disaster management infrastructure, utilities, agriculture, and financial risk assessment. It also strengthens India's data-driven governance and security capabilities. What are the key facts? It offers 1.5 meter resolution, which is highest among its categories. Also, it carries synthetic aperture radar, and optical imaging, which will make available Earth observation data through any weather and any time for ensuring the 24 by 7 all weather monitoring. It enables advanced data fusion and geospatial insights for precision planning. As it is all weather monitoring, it can easily support Digital India, smart cities, disaster management, and climate monitoring. Over next 4 years, 8 to 10 satellites will be launched, which can form an integrated global observation network. Through this, it can advance India's India's capabilities to global standards. It also boosts Atmanirbhar Bharat, space tech innovation, and reducing India's dependence on foreign data. Strategic climate policy, precision agriculture, and border mapping can be done through this mission Drishti. It has also undergone stringent structural tests at ISRO's U.R. Rao Satellite Structure Center, demonstrating its resilience to extreme environment of space. The next topic. The Supreme Court allows limited use of green crackers in Delhi-NCR region. The Supreme Court permitted limited and regulated use of green crackers during the festive seasons in Delhi National Capital Region. It overrules its previous judgment of blanket bans, but instead imposed strict compliance and sale regulations. Coming to the background of this judgment, the firework litigation began in 2015 when a petition by 3 infants sought protection from Delhi's toxic air. In October 2018, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark ruling banning conventional fireworks and permitting only green variants developed by CSIR with fixed time slots for bursting them. In November 2020, the National Green Tribunal it imposed an absolute ban on all fireworks during the Diwali season and other highly polluted cities, expanding the restrictions beyond the earlier framework. Also, based on the air quality index data, there has been a high spike in PM 2.5 and PM 10, especially post the festive season of Diwali. What are these green crackers? The green crackers are the eco-friendly fireworks which are developed by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, CSIR NERI, to reduce the harmful emissions and air pollution. These crackers are made with smaller shells, reduced raw material use, elimination of ash and dust suppressant additives, which help curb smoke and particulate emissions. These are certified by CSIR and PESO, the Petroleum and Explosives Safety Organization. There are different types of green crackers. One is SWAS, Safe Water Releaser, where there are very fine water droplets that have been released which absorbs the dust present. Next, STAR, the Safe Thermite. Here, it is free of potassium, nitrate and sulfur, which minimizes the smoke released. SAFAL, Safe Minimal Aluminium. Here, there is a safe amount of aluminium which has been used and very minimal quantities, which decreases the sound levels. This was first introduced in Arjun Gopal vs. Union of India judgment, which banned the conventional fireworks. What are the Supreme Court conditions raised? Only licensed manufacturers can produce green crackers. Sale is allowed only through authorized vendors. There cannot be any e-commerce sales like Amazon and Flipkart. State pollution control boards have to monitor and report all the emissions. What are the environmental and policy significance. This particular judgment recently helps in balance of cultural rights and the festive celebrations with right to clean air. It links National Clean Air Program and Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. It may also serve as a pilot initiative for evidence-based policy making depending on the air quality data collected during this period. So the data that is collected during this period, that is post Diwali, the data is collected on the PM 2.5 and PM 10 levels, and then proper policy making can be done. IUCN's Kenton R. Miller Award. So who gives this particular award? IUCN, World Commission on Protected Areas, WCPA, awards this Kenton R. Miller Award. Who received this particular award? This award was received by Dr. Sonali Ghosh. She is the director of Kaziranga National Park for the excellence in protected area management. She is the first Indian to receive such award. What is this particular award? It is named after Dr. Kenton R. Miller, who is a pioneer in conservation area planning. This award recognizes outstanding leadership and innovation in protected area management. It is presented at IUCN World Conservation Congress 2025 in Abu Dhabi in UAE. Where is this Kaziranga National Park? About Kaziranga National Park, let's go into the facts related to Kaziranga National Park. UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has been declared in 1985. It has been declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is home to around 70% of world's one-horned rhinoceros. This national park is known for grasslands, wetland, forest mosaic. It also has anti-poaching technology with e-surveillance and drones and eco-development zones. Here, there is a successful implementation of smart patrolling and community-based conservation. This Kaziranga National Park is home to large breeding populations of elephants, wild water buffaloes, and swamp deers. Next topic, status of elephants in India. SAIEE, Synchronous All India Elephant Estimation, SAIEE. It is India's first DNA-based count of elephants. This is conducted by Wildlife Institute of India under Project Elephant of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The objective is to estimate elephant population across India using scientific DNA profiling instead of the traditional direct count. There are different methodologies under this thing. The first step is the dung DNA sampling from all forest ranges. So the dung collected from the elephants in different particular areas is collected. Each elephant is uniquely marked based on the dung. It is conducted simultaneously across the 16 elephant range states in collaboration with Wildlife Institute of India, Project Elephant and the state forest departments. The key insights that have been obtained in this particular report. In India, there are around 29,000 elephants presently. The highest population of wild elephants is found in Western Ghats and then followed by Northeastern Hills and Brahmaputra floodplains. The highest population of elephants is seen in Karnataka, then followed by Assam, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. The elephant corridors have been mapped for different studies of migration of elephants. This can help in mitigation of human-elephant conflicts and better policy planning. Is this elephant status necessary? Yes. The counting of elephants is necessary because India hosts around 60% of Asia's wild elephants. and DNA profiling improves the accuracy and also prevents double counting. This particular data is integrated into Project Elephant 2.0 and Gajayatra campaigns. The next topic is IUCN World Conservation Congress. This is organized by International Union of Conservation of Nature for every 4 years. It brings together the governments, NGOs, scientists and indigenous communities to discuss biodiversity goals and global conservation priorities. This is held in Dubai under the theme Nature Positive Future Solutions for Planet and People. The focus areas of this Congress session is climate biodiversity nexus, ocean conservation, indigenous rights and financing for nature, emphasis on nature-based solutions for sustainable developmental goals. There are many key resolutions in this particular Congress session. First among this is strategic vision. It has approved around 20-year strategic vision and a new program for the next 4 years. Abu Dhabi call to action. It includes the accelerated action across 5 key areas that are reaffirming nature as foundation for well-being, strengthening multilateralism, ensuring justice and inclusion, advancing knowledge and innovation, scaling up resources for nature and climate action. Next resolution is the first ever policy on synthetic biology and nature conservation. So synthetic biology that carries both substantial benefits and significant risks. So there shall be a balance between them. What are the benefits? It restores the lost genetic diversity and eradicates the alien species. The risks involved are the ecological cascades associated with that. So it requires a significant balance between these. Fossil fuels. It recognized the production of fossil fuel as a direct threat and urged the global phase out treaty and just transition. Next is the wildlife trade. So commercial trade in wild animals kept as pets has to be regulated. Crime of ecocide. It recognizes ecocide, that is deliberate environmental harm, as an international crime under the International Criminal Court. These are the important resolutions at this Congress session. What is India's contribution? India has unveiled the National Red List Roadmap to strengthen biodiversity conservation. As per this, there is a vision of 2025 to 2030 for National Red List assessment of Indian flora and fauna, which outlines comprehensive biodiversity monitoring and conservation project, which is headed by Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It establishes a nationally coordinated and participatory red listing system which reflects true conservation status of Indian species of flora and fauna. Why is India most necessary? India is one of the world's 17 mega diverse countries. It hosts around 8% of global flora, 7.5% of fauna with 4 biodiversity hotspots. This project also aligns with frameworks like Convention on Biological Diversity and Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. That is regarding the IUCN World Conservation Congress. Coming to the most important editorial topic, the Great Nicobar Mega Project. It is in news because the Andaman Nicobar Islands are among the world's most important biological diversity hotspots, and it is also home to unique ecosystems like tropical rainforests, mangroves, coral reefs, and rare wildlife species. These islands act as natural carbon reservoirs and climate regulators in the Indian Ocean region. This is how important the Andaman and Nicobar Islands for the environment aspect. But the development trajectory of island have largely mirrored India's mainland approach, which is focusing on large scale infrastructure without considering the fragile island ecology. So, this proposal of holistic development of Great Nicobar Island project has triggered widespread concern among ecologists, experts, and human rights defenders. So, what is the ecological significance of this Great Nicobar? Great Nicobar Island is India's southernmost tip and is ecologically invaluable. It hosts around it hosts very unique species such as Nicobar megapod, Nicobar macaque, Nicobar tree shrew, and the world's largest leatherback turtle nesting sites. The tropical rainforests are carbon dense ecosystems which can store carbon stocks which are very important for global climate regulation. This Great Nicobar is also a part of Sundaland biodiversity hotspot. Its coral reefs, seagrass meadows, and mangroves act as natural shields against cyclones, tsunamis, and coastal erosions. Losing such ecosystems would mean that entire web of life supporting climate stability, marine productivity, and local livelihoods would be destroyed. So, what is the proposed project? Galthe Bay Transshipment Port. This is a deep sea port which is designed to handle 16 million annually, positioning India as a regional maritime hub. Great Nicobar International Airport. This is a greenfield airport with a peak hour capacity of 4,000 passengers. This can improve the connectivity to the area. Great Nicobar Gas and Solar Power Point. A 450 megawatt capacity power plant can ensure self-sufficiency for this particular region. Urban townships and infrastructure. There is a development of townships to accommodate a population of 3 lakh by 2052 alongside the industrial and tourism ecozones. What is the ecological impact of these particular development projects? First, deforestation. Because any particular project they need land. For the land, there is a clearance of approximately 130 square kilometers of rainforest affecting over 10 million trees that has to be cleared so that there can be construction of ports and airports as well as urban development and related infrastructure. There is also biodiversity loss because this island has a unique ecosystem that can include habitats for leatherback turtles. These constructions, because of these constructions, there is a heavy threat to these particular habitats. Protected areas. Galthe Bay Wildlife Sanctuary, which is a designated turtle reserve, it has been denotified to facilitate the development of the port, raising the concerns about the adequacy of compensatory conservation measures. What about the indigenous communities? So the tribals, they are Shompen and Nicobarese tribes who are recognized as the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. They inhabit this particular island. This project threatens their traditional lifestyle and legal protections under the Forest Rights Act and the Shompen policy. There are also allegations of insufficient consultation with these particular councils and the violations of constitutional mandates that regarding the tribal welfare. There are certain environmental risks with this particular project. First is the earthquake and tsunami vulnerability. The history of the region has seen a high seismic activity, which also includes 2004 tsunami. This particular things raises concerns about the safety and sustainability of these large-scale infrastructure projects in such geologically active zones. Critics also point to inadequate environmental impact assessments and the withholding of detailed reports from public scrutiny, citing national security reasons. What is the way forward? There shall be review of forest and environmental clearances for procedural lapse. The forest rights under FRA transparently shall be settled before further approval. There shall be free, prior, and informed consent of all affected tribal groups. The social impact assessments with participation of anthropologists, ecologists, and tribal councils shall be reconducted, redesign, or downscale the project to minimize the habitat loss. Adopt low impact infrastructure, avoid ecological critical zones, and ensure green buffers. Establishing an island ecological authority for all the projects in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This particular authority shall be given right to dismiss any particular projects that affects ecology of the particular islands. Let's discuss some prelims based questions from the previous year UPSC papers. So consider the following statements. With DNA barcoding can be a tool to assess the age of a plant or animal, distinguish among species that look alike, identify undesirable animal or plant materials in processed foods. So what is this DNA barcoding? This DNA barcoding is to identify species on short standardized regions of DNA. So as per this DNA, you identify particular species with the DNAs. The species identification, that is assessing the age of plant or animal. With this particular DNA barcoding, only the species identification can be done, but not the individual characteristics. Hence, you cannot assess the age of an animal or plant using the DNA barcoding. This DNA barcoding helps to distinguish among the species, especially the lookalikes like butterfly and certain plants that are very similar, but with DNA barcoding you can identify that particular species. DNA barcoding also helps to identify the undesirable animal or plant materials in these processed foods. How? Yes, using this, whenever there is a contamination of food like allergens and other things, using this DNA barcoding, you can identify which particular species has been in that particular food so that you can select to eat or reject that particular food. Hence, DNA barcoding can be tool to distinguish among species and identify the undesirable animal or plant material. Consider the following pairs: vitamin and the deficiency diseases. Vitamin C, scurvy; vitamin D, rickets; vitamin E, and night blindness. Yes, the deficiency of vitamin C causes scurvy disease. Deficiency of vitamin D causes rickets, whereas night blindness is caused due to the deficiency of vitamin A. Due to deficiency of vitamin E, you get the neurological issues like muscle weakness. Muscle weakness is caused due to the deficiency of vitamin E. The other vitamins like vitamin B1 causes beriberi, vitamin B2 the retarded growth, vitamin B12 the anemic conditions, and vitamin K it causes the excessive bleeding whenever there is a particular injury. With reference to Indian elephants, consider the following statements. The leader of an elephant group is a female. The maximum gestation period can be 22 months. An elephant can normally go on till carving till the age of 40 years only. Among the states in India, the highest elephant population is in Kerala. In this particular statements, the leader of an elephant group is female. Yes, the leader of an elephant group is always the eldest female in that particular group. It leads the group for food and water facilities. The gestation period is around 22 months. The average life expectancy of an elephant is 70 years, whereas it can go to adulthood at the age of 18. So it is not 40 but 18 years. The elephant population is highest in Karnataka. Presently, post Karnataka, it is followed by Assam. But in the year 2020, post Karnataka, the highest population is seen in Kerala in the year 2020. Presently, the highest population is seen in Karnataka, followed by Assam, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. With reference to IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, and Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, which of the following statements are correct? IUCN is an organ of United Nations and CITES is an international agreement between governments. IUCN runs thousands of field projects around the world to better manage natural environments. CITES is legally binding on states that have joined it, but this convention does not take the place of national laws. So this IUCN, it has been founded as International Union for Protection of Nature in October 1948 in France. It is a government and civil society organization. Hence, it is not an organ of United Nations. Whereas CITES is an international agreement between the governments. IUCN runs thousands of projects which include IUCN runs thousands of projects. Also, IUCN is headquartered in Switzerland. The international conventions led by IUCN include Ramsar Convention, Convention on Biological Diversity, UNFCCC, etc. Coming to CITES. CITES is a commercial trade regulation which is legally binding on states. It provides only the framework which is adopted by domestic legislation which is implemented at the national level. Hence, CITES is legally binding on states, but this convention does not take place at the national laws. Mission Drishti is recently seen in news as a multi-sensor Earth observation satellite for climate and disaster monitoring. Let's look into one of the previous year mains question. Environmental impact assessment studies are increasingly undertaken before the project is cleared by the government. Discuss the environmental impacts of coal-fired thermal plants located at pit heads. So, how to start this particular answer? In introduction, you first begin with the definition of international impact assessment. What is this international impact assessment? It is a process to evaluate the likely environmental impacts of project or development considering the interrelated socio-economic, cultural and human health impacts. What are these coal-fired thermal plants. And why is it important? These coal-fired thermal plants are very critical for energy security, but they have high significant environmental impacts. These pit head plants, they are located near coal mines that reduces coal transportation costs. The advantages of these pit heads include cost effective fuel supply, reduced logistic issues, increased local environmental stress due to concentrated emissions and mining activities. Now discuss the various environmental impacts. What are the different environmental impacts? First can be the air pollution, where you can speak about the emission of particulate matter which causes respiratory diseases, smog and acid rain. Greenhouse emissions also contribute very heavily to global warming. Next impact is the water pollution. These thermal plants require large amounts of cooling water affecting the local water bodies, and the discharge of hot water raises the water temperature which harms the aquatic ecosystems. The effluence of heavy metals and fly ash contaminates the groundwater. Next impact is the land degradation. The fly ash disposal contaminates soil which affects the agricultural productivity. The mining activities for coal lead to deforestation, soil erosion and land subsidence. What are the next impact is the biodiversity loss. Because of this, habitat fragmentation due to mining infrastructure affects the flora and fauna. Next impact is the occupational and human health hazards. The workers are exposed to dust, particulate matter and heat stress. Hence, the nearby population face high incidence of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. What are the mitigation measures? Even you can discuss the mitigation measures in this particular body. So, you can adopt cleaner technologies, the emission control devices, the fly ash utilization in cement and brick manufacturing, the water treatment and recycling to minimize the effluent discharge, afforestation and biodiversity conservation programs. How to conclude this particular answer? You can summarize the trade-off between the energy security and environmental health and emphasize the importance of EIA in ensuring this sustainable development. Like the pithead thermal plants, they are economically very advantageous. Hence, their environmental impacts underscore the need for comprehensive EIA. It shall be regulated with a balanced approach of development and economic sustainability. So, if you want to submit your mains answers and want our valuable feedback, you can submit your answers to response@civiccentre.in, which is evaluated and feedback is given by the Civic Center IAS Masters. Thank you.